Welcome to the Clean Cuisine, guys. Tonight we have a delicious meal. We've got a strip sirloin steak that we are going to grill, and we are going to add to that some caramelized mushrooms and onions on top. Delicious. Steaks are quick and easy. They've got a ton of protein, and it's a lot easier than some people think, so I'm going to show you how. First, I'm going to start by cutting up. Got a giant onion here. Probably don't need to use all of it, maybe about half. And the simplest way to peel an onion is to cut it in half and then peel off that top layer. And this one's kind of got a bad spot, so I'm going to cut that out. And I will use this one as well. Caramelized onions are so good. They've got that deep flavor, you know, from being in that pan just sauteing forever. I love it. And I like mine a little bit thicker. So I'm going to cut mine. I guess they're not that thick, but I'll show you here just a second. I cut mine about yay thick. You cut them how you like. But you do want to cut your mushrooms and your onions about the same width so that they can caramelize at the same time. I usually throw my onions in first because they can sit there and caramelize all day long. The longer you leave them in there, the richer the flavor. So I'll add my mushrooms in last because they take a lot less time. So while I'm chopping these up, I've got my saute pan on medium-high heat. Just going to move those out of the way. I used, for this particular recipe, I've got organic cremini mushrooms. You can use button mushrooms, you could use shiitake, you could use a combination of all of them. So I'm going to finish slicing these, and then we will move over to our pan and start the caramelizing process. Now before you begin, I do want to add that you want to take your steaks out like I have here. You want them to come to room temperature prior to grilling them. It allows the fat to soften, and it just makes for a much more tasty, flavorful, and tender steak. So remember to take those out ahead of time, and we'll season those up right before they hit the pan. Okay, so I got my pan nice and hot at a medium-high heat. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And I'm also going to add in a tablespoon or two of some clarified butter. I've got my mushrooms and my onions all cut up here. I'm going to go ahead and just add in my my onions first. Get them going. And I'm going to let these saute for probably a good 5 minutes, and then I'll add in my mushrooms. I love the smell of onion sauteing. So good. So while I'm sauteing those, I'm going to go ahead and season our steaks over here. And I'm just going to give them a liberal coat of some sea salt, some cracked pepper, and I like to add in a little garlic powder. You don't have to. I think it just gives it that extra flavor, and I love garlic, so I'm going to press that in, and then we'll flip them and do it again to the other side. This comes together pretty quick once the onions and the mushrooms are done caramelizing. The steaks usually only take anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes, depending on the thickness that you've got. So if you were to skip the caramelizing of the onions and the mushrooms, You should have yourself a steak ready in less than 15 minutes. You can see, you hear the crackling. These guys are starting to brown already, which is awesome. That's what we want. They're getting super soft. Caramelized onions, I don't know. There is nothing. I could eat onions raw. I like them caramelized. I like them sauteed. I just love onions. Some people hate them. I am an onion lover. And when you get the onions and the mushrooms together and you just put it on top of the steak, delicious. So I'm going to let these saute for a little bit longer, and then we'll throw in the mushrooms, let them caramelize together for a while in the pan. Then we'll go ahead and grill our steak. Okay, so our onions have been caramelizing for about 5 minutes. You can see the gorgeous kind of brown color that they're taking on. I'm going to go ahead and add in my mushrooms. And we'll let them finish sauteing together. And this is delicious. We're doing the Whole 30 right now, so this is a Whole 30 dish. And if you are a new subscriber or you're just tuning in, check out the super simple kale salad that literally comes together in less than a minute. And that is a great addition to this because it's really citrusy. It's got that tang with the dressing, so that'll cut through some of this, you know, the fat that we've got in the steak, and it just makes a really nice accompaniment to this meal. So both things very easy to do, very quick, not so time consuming. Perfect to treat yourself on a weekend or even during the weeknight. Alright, so we're going to let those cook together for a while. Just kind of stir them every few minutes, and then we'll get to our steaks. Alright guys, so we are pretty much done. It's been about another 5 to 7 minutes in the pan, and these are looking great. You can let this go longer and it's just going to create more and more flavor, but it's about the softness that I'm looking for, so I'm going to go ahead and transfer it to a plate and then get our steaks going. And I'm going to use the same pan. It's got a nice lot of flavor on there already. Grab that. Yep, I'm dangerous. Living on the edge. My gosh, it tastes so good. I did add a little salt and pepper to the onions and the mushrooms as they were sauteing. So I'm going to put this in. You want to keep it at the same medium-high to high heat because you want to get a nice sear. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. Not quite to high, but right before that. And I'm going to give those a few minutes. Let's check back with them in about 3 to 4 minutes. Alright, it's been about 3.5 minutes. I'm going to turn them. Look at that sear. Oh my gosh, it tastes, and see, well, it smells so good right now. It's going to taste good. It's got a beautiful, beautiful sear on it. It's smoking good. Make sure you open some windows or have a good fan. This is always great to do, obviously, outside on your grill, but sometimes it takes a little extra time, so I like to keep it one pan as much as I can when I make dinner, so everything's in one pan here tonight. If you don't have one of these, it's a good idea to get one. This is a handy-dandy meat thermometer. If you're not comfortable with telling when your meat is done, this is always great, and it'll let you know according to how rare or well done you like your steak. So in a couple minutes, I'll poke one in there. We like ours medium. So I'll see when that's about done, and then we're just going to transfer our steaks and let them rest before we cut them. So my steaks are done. I just put them on my cutting board to rest for a few minutes, and you can see they're starting to extract some of those juices from the inside. That is a good sign. It's got that delicious sear on the outside, cooked perfectly on the inside. And then all we need to do is top it with some of our sauteed mushrooms and onions and serve it with our side salad, and you have a delicious dinner. My husband is going to be a happy man. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more quick, simple, and healthy meals.